we spend a lot of our time complaining that the snake bit us when we knew we were making the choice to pick it up.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Justin Harris.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out once again in the podcast here. We are sponsored, of course, by three great companies today. Alamode being one of them. Alamode is the software that you should be using to do your report write-up because of the many, many tools that are found in the software. You can reach them at 800-ALAMODE or find out more at alamode.com. Datamaster, saving appraisers time, saving appraisers money. It's Datamaster USA, datamasterusa.com. And finally, we're sponsored by OREP Insurance. OREP, of course, is my E&O. Makes it so easy to renew, and so many benefits coming with the great people at OREP Insurance. It's orep.org. That's orep.org. All right, folks, I want to start this little podcast today by sharing with you a conversation that I recently had. And by the way, I do have permission from this individual to share at least some parts of the conversation. I recently was with a friend, and this is a friend that is near my age, and we were having lunch together. And we were talking about this, and we were talking about that, and the conversation led to marriage. And I felt like there were maybe some complaints, if you will, some struggles that this individual is having with his marriage. And I'll be honest with you, even though I'm very good friends with this individual, it made me a little bit uncomfortable. I've always been I'm going to use the word respectful, not that he was disrespectful. I'm not saying that at all. But from my marriage standpoint, I've always really tried to respect my wife and keep our issues, our problems private, if you will. And we've gone through some struggles. I'm not afraid to admit we've been through counseling, marriage counseling. It was very helpful in a time that we really struggled to get through some things. And I do think that there is a time and a place for that, if you will. Now, I'm not a therapist, but I am a friend, and so I listened. I listened to this individual, and you know what? I feel his pain. I could feel where he was coming from. And then I looked at him, and maybe this was, and you have to understand our friendship, right? Only I could probably say this and get away with it. I looked at him and I said, well, you could divorce her. And he kind of laughed, and I know that's not a funny thing to laugh about, but that was kind of the point, right? He was complaining about some really minor things, and he said, well, I don't want to do that. And I said, I know you don't, but my point is, you do have a choice. And he goes, I know. And honestly, folks, he wasn't looking for a way out. He was looking for a confidant. He was looking for somebody to lean on. He was looking for someone to share some challenges with. And I showed some empathy. After I got done joking, I certainly listened. And we had a good conversation. We really did. But it reminded me of a story from when I was a young boy, and this story was told to me many times. And it's the story, the analogy, if you will, of the snake. And I think I've shared it with you on this podcast before. I know I've shared it in one of my courses. In fact, I think it was in the Go Remodel Your Appraisal Business course that you can find on my website. And I told the story of the snake. And the snake, basically, the story is this. There is a young boy who has climbed a mountain, and he meets a rattlesnake. And the rattlesnake is hot and bothered and wants to be carried down to where there's water down the mountain. And the boy, first of all, there's a talking snake. Okay, I guess we should get that out of the way. Weird, but that's the way the analogy goes. So this boy's having the conversation with the snake, and he said, no, you're going to bite me. And he goes, I'm not going to bite you. You're doing me a favor. And they go back and forth and back and forth. And finally, of course, the boy picks up the snake, carries it down, lays it next to the river. And before the snake goes to get the drink of water, he turns around and bites the boy. And the boy, of course, is offended and says, why did you do that? And the snake answers, well, I'm a snake. But you promised you wouldn't. He goes, boy, you knew what I was when you picked me up. Now, here's the thing. I'm certainly not comparing this man's wife to a snake. She is a gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful woman. And they're going through, what every marriage goes through, right? But here's the thing. I think it's fair that when we struggle with certain things, that we need to remember that we do have a choice, right? My joke to him was, hey, well, you could get out, right? It was so absurd, it was funny, right? Like he's going to get out because of these minor things. They were just minor things, right? But here's the thing. He he understood, now maybe not completely, I don't think any of us understand marriage as we get into it, but we certainly understand certain aspects of it, and we know it's not going to be perfect. We know because no marriage is perfect. And we know some of the things that we do before we do them. Now, of course, I'm going to apply this to business. Hang tight. We'll get there. I want to pause here first and remind you that we are sponsored by, well, 3 great companies. And when I say great companies, folks, these are companies that I use every single day of my life as an appraiser because they're that good. It's not because they pay for advertisement here, folks. I advertise because I am a user, because I utilize these products. First, of course, is a la mode. Every single day, at least at work, I'm in a la mode. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and every single day I'm grateful for the great program. Now, it's a software program, right? Are there bugs? Are there problems? Yes, of course. They come with any software program, but folks, these are top-notch. Technicians, they will take care of problems. They will keep you going. If you want to be efficient at what you do as a real estate appraiser, a la mode is where it's at, alamode.com or 800 a la mode. Data Master saving you time, folks. I timed it. It's between 30 and 40 minutes on every single report that we save by using Data Master because it takes data that we would have to hand enter into the report. And by the way, risk human error. It takes all of that out of the equation and saves you time. DatamasterUSA.com. Go to their website, DatamasterUSA.com. Finally, we're sponsored by OREP Insurance, folks. Just recently, I was on OREP's website for another reason, and I just noticed the benefits tab again, and I just clicked on there and said, yeah, I wonder what is new there. Folks, you will not find an E&O company with more free, just bonus benefits just because you are a member. I mean, check them out. You don't have to be a member to check out the benefits. Just go to orep.org, click on the benefits tab, and start reading through them, and ask yourself if your current E&O has those kind of benefits. I guarantee they don't. orep.org, that's OREP.org. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. I thought about this analogy, both the conversation that I had with my friend recently and, of course, the analogy of the snake. Recently, when I was on a social media site called Facebook, you might have heard of it, and on that site, I belong to several, and I can't remember which one this was on, but I belong to several appraiser websites. Now, these are groups, if you will, that appraisers get together and they talk about whatever. They talk about the market. They talk about, hey, I need some help with this appraisal, or they talk about some struggles that they're having. Now, I also run one of these groups in the All-Star team. This complaint did not come from this group because, frankly, we are a different class of appraisers in the All-Star team. But this individual was complaining about a particular company. I'm not going to use the company's name. And by the way, it's a company that I work for. And so the name kind of drew my attention. I'm like, I wonder what people are complaining about this particular company right now. Well, the complaint was about the fact that this company, it's an AMC, has a 24-hour requirement that you have to get back to them once an appraisal request is given. In other words, they send you an engagement letter and they want within 24 hours you to come back and say, that you contacted or at least tried to contact the individual, whether it be an agent or a homeowner or what have you, to set up the inspection. That's their requirement. And of course, the Post was complaining about this fact and how could a company require this? And do they not know that we're busy? And 24 hours, really? That's your requirement? I can't believe I still work for this company. And I guess my thought came back to the conversation that I had with my friend. And again, it was a bit of a joke. And by the way, I was trying to be absurd in my joke. I know that marriage is a sacred thing and that we don't trifle with it. And I was not certainly suggesting that he divorce his wife. My point was, hey, you've got a choice here. And my point was to bring him back to earth and say, well, you know what? Yeah, you're right. These are kind of minor things comparatively, right? And the same is true with our clients. Folks, here's the thing. You knew what they were when you picked them up. Even more so than marriage. There's a lot of unknowns with marriage. There's not so many when it comes to AMCs. Folks, you do have a choice, and you can find out a lot about these companies before you sign up for their roster. These things don't just automatically happen. You actually, on most of these companies, have to physically download their stuff, fill it out, turn it in, hope and pray you get on their panel, and then we complain about being on their panel. Now, folks, I am like you in many, many ways. I don't like this and I don't like that. And sometimes I look at these AMCs and I say to myself, I can do better than that. If I were running an AMC, I certainly wouldn't do that. Well, guess what? I could run an AMC. That's not a choice I make. I do make a choice to work for these particular companies. Sometimes I want to reach through Facebook, take somebody by the shoulders and shake them and say, dude, you got a choice. Why are you complaining about a 24-hour requirement that you have to get back when you can move on? If you really hate it that much, you can divorce them. If you really hate it that much, you don't have to do it. Now, maybe this individual is just complaining to complain. I don't know. And I guess we do that. As human beings, sometimes we just need to vent. Sometimes we just need to let loose. I get it. I have those days as well, right? But if you're finding yourself constantly complaining about a certain company or constantly complaining about a certain policy or way of doing things or things that aren't done the way that you want them to be done, you need to reevaluate, right? And it doesn't necessarily just have to do with clients. You've heard me talk about my process, and I go through it frequently. This is a process I call grading my clients. A clients, B clients, and Y clients. There are no C clients in my office. A C client is a Y client, and a Y client is why the hell am I working for you? Goodbye. That's a Y client. Now, I will work for B minus clients. I work for several B minus clients, but they do not get my top priority. When a request comes from them, guess what? They're last of the list. I might be 3-4 weeks out before I can get to your report, right? Your fee might be higher because I don't want to deal with your crap, right? That's what it takes to run a successful business, to understand your clients and understand why you're doing what you're doing. But folks, we spend so much time, and I see it over and over and over again. We spend so much time complaining about things that we chose. Let me repeat that. We spend a lot of our time complaining that the snake bit us when we knew we were making the choice to pick it up. Now, I want to let that sink in for just a little bit. Again, I'm not saying you can't complain. I'm not saying you're not allowed to complain. I'm not saying that this individual was saying, you know what, this is so bad, I can't believe I stay around, right? Maybe they were just like, you know what, I like everything else about this company, but this one thing is kind of stupid. And they were looking for peer input to say, yeah, you're right, rah, rah. Well, folks, again, we're human beings, and we deal with these issues on a regular basis, and that's okay. But overall, you do have a choice. I see so many people complain about this company or that company or AMCs in general. And you got to ask yourself, then why are you working for them? You don't have to. Well, Dustin, of course you have to. What other choice do we have? I got to make a living. Well, folks, I know a lot of my All-Star team that makes a living doing stuff, and they don't touch AMCs. I had a new Dream Team member just join us, and all he does is work for lawyers. That's it. It's the only thing he does is work for lawyers. Doesn't do any lender work at all. Now, that comes with its own bag of problems as well. We all know that, right? But that's a choice that he makes, and he makes a very good living doing it. Folks, you do have a choice. Remember that. When you start complaining, and again, there's nothing wrong with complaining, right? But if it's a constant thing, if it's a constant pain in your side, maybe you should reevaluate why you're working for those people. Folks, I mentioned earlier my Go Remodel Your Appraisal Business course. Folks, you can find it on my website. It's really easy. Go to theappraisercoach.com, theappraisercoach.com, and then up at the top, you'll see a bunch of things. Just click on products. And when you click on products, you can just kind of scroll down. It's not very far. You'll see workshops for purchase, right? And the Go Remodel Your Appraisal Business is there. By the way, it's 25% off when you use your All-Star Team or Dream Team membership.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star Team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.